Okay, so my mcintosh JBL stereo system is kind of unique, and I will try to share it with you. It starts with the preamp. It's a Dynaco Pass 3X, completely rebuilt with the original boards, Telefunken smooth plate tubes, new power supply board, but using the tube rectifier still, new power transformer, step volume control, so it uses resistors. It doesn't have a wiper. It's a step control. And the balance pot is an Alps blue velvet. It has a modern day selector switch. It has the 3X tone control kit. It has two inputs on the front, one for the cell phone. It has a new RCA board. The original boards have been completely rebuilt. The phono board's ready to go, but remains untested. New switches, silver plate hookup wire, all through the signal path. And it has the LED light kit, and so on. Lots of work. Okay, from there the signal goes to the crossover, which is a Sony TAD888. Okay, it's a 4-way with the cartridge plug-ins on top, and the crossover points are 225 Hertz, 500 Hertz. The tweeter crosses over at 8K, and you can see the levels adjustments here. Okay, the CD player is just a Rotel 965BX, and it feeds into a DAT, but it also feeds directly. You can compare it. It feeds from the Rotel, or you can go, it goes to the DAT, and you can select another input. The DAT actually sounds a little bit better. And the DAT is custom built. It uses that TA1541A chip. Okay, I didn't build the DAT. I bought it, and it's not a USB DAT like that says. There's no USB. He just put it in that case and just has digital and optical, and I'm using the digital input, and it's got a lot of good parts in it, and it has plug-in op amps, so you can change the op amps. I'm just using the ones he put in there. I think they're Lime something or other, but you can unplug them and you can plug in Burr Brown or whatever you want. So okay, so that's the DAT. As far as I know, I forget some of the stuff. Okay, so let's go to the tweeters. Our JBL 2404H, and I just mounted them inside of these boxes from the thrift store. They're hardwired with silver plated hookup wire. Here's the other one. Okay, and they're powered by this Sylvania tube amp, which is completely rebuilt. That capacitor does nothing. It has all new components underneath. The small driver tubes are Telefunken. The output tubes are Czechoslovakian EIs, EL84s. And it's really, really good for driving the tweeters. And they're compression tweeters, so you don't need a lot of power. There's probably only 12 to 15 watts to drive the tweeter, and there's room to spare on the level. Okay, and these patch cords are Vintage Musical Concept. Okay, so then the mid-range horns are JBL, I don't know if you can see it, but they're JBL 2445s, a pair of them with the 2380 lens. They're compression horns, 2-inch voice coils. Here's the other one. Hard to see them. I had to make these boxes and support the drivers because they're so heavy and put it all together. Also, heavier silver plate hookup wire. They're powered by this Magnavox tube amp with Sylvania chrome dome outputs, completely rebuilt. And there's room to spare. I mean, they're compression drivers, and this little amp drives them a lot better than I thought. And there's also these JBL mid-ranges. Okay, I forget the part number. They're 1-inch voice coils, and they're pretty rare ones. These are pretty rare. And they're in these JBL boxes. Okay? And you can switch. On the switch, there's a switch for you can choose one or both on the mid-range horns. So you can drive these ones or both, all four. And it is all powered by this Magnavox custom built amp here. It does have a few tricks on it. It's rebuilt. And it drives the mid-range compression horns. Okay? Now, on the tweeter, I showed you the tweeter. There's also these Marantz ring diaphragm tweeters up in the air here. I generally only use these when I'm doing the karaoke, and I'll shut down the bottom ones and I'll turn those on. And you can do that here. There's a tweeter switch. You can run them both, but I just generally run the JBLs. Okay, so now the lower mid is here, and they're JBL 2012H. All right, 2012H, and they're in these boxes, and they're JBL boxes. And here's the other one, and they're driven by a pair of McIntosh MC30s, completely rebuilt. And right now they're using those really rare Russian output tubes that are no longer made, and I probably will not be able to ever replace those. I'll probably end up running Sylvanias or something after they go. So there's one. You see the McIntosh there. That's driving this one. And over here you see the other one, and that's driving this one. 10-inch JBL 2012H. Okay. Now the woofer. The woofer is down here. They're in these boxes. They're in these Fisher boxes that I had to add added insulation. These are not hooked up, but this is the woofer. And they're JBL 15-inch. I forget the part number. I know Uncle upgraded these once. And I know they're 16 ohm. And quite hard to drive. So this is one. The other one's over here. Okay, I don't know, it's hard to see it. Alright. And I'm currently driving them with a solid state amplifier, which really doesn't have enough power to drive them, but it's doing it because I'm stepping up the bass signal through a little buffer amp here. It's a little bare tube buffer just for the bass, and because I'm running it through there and boosting the signal, it's driving the bass. And I've rebuilt this solid state Adcom GF2 with the rebuild kit, but really I really should have double that power to drive the bass, but right now it is working. Now the bass signal is kind of complicated. It also runs through this Magnavox, or this McIntosh Environmental Equalizer 104 setup. Okay, that's just for the bass signal. All right. Okay, so that's the gist of it. Now over here we have, I don't know if you can see it, but there's this big black box over here, and there's just basically, it's big power transformer. So this, Uncle made this. It's a power stabilization unit. So this plugs into the wall and it isolates the circuit and gives me enough stable power to run all the tube amps at the same time. Okay. Alright, and other than that, they're just some tidbits. There's a cassette deck and an internet radio. There's a plug-in for the karaoke system, which is over here. Yes, sometimes I karaoke, and you can plug it into the system here. And this is the rest of it. And I thank you for looking. Have a good one.